there, it's Erica, or Alistair as some of you know me. I know it's been a while, and I just wanted to come on here and say that I've really missed you guys, and I know it's been a while, but I want to essentially give you an update as to what I've been up to, sort of what happened, and also just to let you know that I'm here for you guys if you ever need anything, and also hoping to get back into this. So let's get started. So I know at the time when I left, I did have a few videos up, and I know I have a few supporters, so I hope some of you are still here with me. I did want to mention that at the time I wasn't feeling too well emotionally, mentally, and also I was in college, so there was just the workload of having to manage my emotional well-being as well as my classes and work and everything that had to be done. So that's a sort of the idea as to what happened. Besides that, I don't know. I always felt like I should have, done more and possibly like recorded more and just get something out there, but I've thought about it recently, and I think now is a good time, better than ever, to get back into it. So I really hope I have all of your support, and I'm really glad for you to still be here. And also for my new viewers, thank you for stopping by. And I just want to let you know that I appreciate you all, and I thank you all for watching. So I just have my tablet here. I made just like a few notes as to major things that have happened, and just to give you an idea of what I've been up to. In November of 2017, I got my first cat. Her name is Luna, so I can just, if I figure out how to edit again, I can insert a picture here. But yeah, she was just the greatest. She has so she's all white, and she has two colored spots on her back. I'll see if I can get a picture of that as well. But she is just the best. I was so excited to have a cat. I know I've always wanted one. At the time, I had only ever had dogs, so I wasn't sure of what my mom would say as to me getting a cat, but actually she was the one who got the cat for me. I'm honestly not quite sure how. She did say that she was walking around in our neighborhood in Queens, and she said that there was a woman with like a cart full of cats, or a stroller or something, and she said that the woman was just giving them away. So my mom thought that she would take one home. And when she came home with it, I wasn't expecting it, because she essentially came home, I believe she was doing groceries. She left Luna on the inside the house, but by the front door, and she told me that she needed help with groceries, so I went ahead and I went there, and there were actually no groceries. She had brought everything in, but there was a cat there. So I was really confused, and then she had mentioned that she basically got me this cat, so I'm like, okay, cool. So after that, I got everything for a cat. Essentially, I had to go out to Petco, and I got, litter box, food, toys, because I've never owned a cat. So essentially, I was just trying to figure out what it is that you would need for a cat. So yeah, and when I moved out a few years after that, she did keep my cat, only because the apartments that I were in weren't really that pet friendly. You can have a pet, but in terms of like the layout and stuff, I don't think it was the best to have a pet in, so I just let her have the cat. I moved out, and I moved to Elmhurst, Queens, kind of like by the hospital. So that's what my living situation was. It was one of those basement apartments, and I was living there for about a year. In November of 2018 was when my childhood dog passed away, and during the time, so I visited my mom and my brothers for Thanksgiving, and she had Thanksgiving dinner, and I saw my dog, and she wasn't doing so well. She was a little bit shaky while walking. She was also getting a little bit blind in one eye, so I knew it was coming. And so I visited Thursday, which is Thanksgiving, and then on the Monday after was when she passed away. In July of 2019 was when I got my cat Susie. I got her from the shelter, and a month before that I had moved to Maspeth, Queens, which was a really nice quiet area, and it was also a basement apartment, but this one was actually much nicer. When I went to the shelter, I kind of just wanted to see and look around to see what was there, and I wasn't actually expecting to leave with a new pet, but I ended up finding her. I was walking around the shelter, around the cat area, and they had like these walls. So there was one wall full of kennels, and then there was another wall, so it was like an L shape, um, full of kennels, and I was walking through them, and I stopped by Susie's kennel, and then I walked past it, and I was walking to the other ones, and while I was walking through the other ones, she kept meowing, and she kept like almost like screaming at me. So I was like, you know what, maybe this is the cat for me. Like I didn't pick her, she picked me, so it ended up being like a really good idea, and I really love her. I've come to have like a really good connection with her, especially since I've lived through some great times and not so great times with her. So I'm just really glad to have experienced that with her and to have her by my side. In January of 2020, I had broken up with my boyfriend at the time that I moved out with, and it was not the best time. It was kind of hard. Especially since you moved out with them after living with your parents for a long time, and that was your first partner that you move out with. You get to live with them, you get to experience new things with them. But at the end of the day, it was all right. The situation could have been a little better, but you never can expect that, and you can also never like plan for that. In February of 2020, I had met my current husband, which was like, I know it was so soon, it was like a month after my breakup, and it was something that you don't expect. So we met in February, but we didn't actually start going out until March. But also at the same time, you can never expect what it is that your heart wants, and what to know what's gonna be happening in the future. So I wasn't actually expecting that. I wasn't aiming for that. I wasn't looking for that. But it just sort of happened. So my husband at the time was living in Long Island, and my lease was going to be up soon in June of 2020, and I didn't really have the funds to actually live there on my own. So I decided to move to Long Island. I graduated from the City College of New York with my bachelor's in economics. It was such a great accomplishment because at the time, during my college life, I didn't think I would actually graduate. There was some things going on where I had to not go to classes for a semester, and I was also part-time for a few semesters. So it took me just a little longer, especially since I also changed my major. I was civil engineering, but because I've had so much difficult time with my emotional and mental well-being, I didn't think that an engineering degree would help me in any way, so I just made the decision to switch to economics. Moving on to 2021, in February, me and my husband, we visited Charlotte. At the time, we were still boyfriend and girlfriend, but we visited Charlotte to get an idea as to whether we wanted to move here. He had an interview set up, and he was looking to take a look at shops down here because he is a mechanic. So he wanted to see what opportunities he would have here. My husband thought it was a good idea to move here. He did see that there was a lot of dealerships, and it would also be a good opportunity for me since I did graduate with my bachelor's in economics. So there's a big finance area here, so it would be a good idea for me to move here. The month after, so in March, we did actually make the big move to Charlotte, and I had to pack up my things from a storage facility because I did move from an apartment to a bedroom, and then we moved in Long Island. We moved to an apartment, but it was smaller than what I had previously, so I still didn't have the room to put everything in my apartment, and I kept it at the storage. So we moved all our things down here and we packed it up, and it took us about 2 days because we did have to stop somewhere halfway since it is a little bit of a drive with a truck and also towing a car, and we were coming from Long Island to Charlotte, so that's about, I think with stops and everything, like 12, maybe 13 hours or something like that. I don't quite remember. In April of 2021, I also got another cat. So I had Susie, and I also got another cat, which she happens to be here. And this is Tofu. And we got her as a kitten. When I got her, I believe she was about a month old, I want to say. Me and my husband were always talking about how we wanted another cat, and we thought it was a good opportunity. I was always on the lookout for cats on the shelter website, and my husband actually mentioned that he wanted like an orange female cat. At the time, we didn't really know that orange female cats were rare. So when I saw that there was an orange female cat, we decided to go to pick up the cat. It was at a Petco, and he was currently at work. But I did mention it to him, so as soon as he was able to leave for work for the day, we actually just drove straight to the Petco, and we were able to get her. I have actually been working at a few financial companies at the time. I was at LPL Financial for a few months for a contract temporary role, and then I was at Robinhood for a full-time role for a few months. I ended up not being able to stay because the role that I was in, I had to pass certain exams, and in order for me to stay, I would have to pass them, but I wasn't able to pass one of the exams that was required of me, so they let me go. But after that, I had also found a role at Vanguard, which would give me another opportunity to take that exam that I didn't pass, and I ended up passing, so I'm really glad that they gave me the chance. In January of 2022, I got engaged. It was a really... During the time, I wasn't really having a great time. I was trying to study for these exams, and I was having a little bit of trouble with them. I was still at Robinhood, but my husband essentially, assured me that no matter what, whether pass or fail, or whatever sort of jobs that I had, he would still stick with me. So I was really grateful for that. We got married in May of 2022. It was a really small elopement. It was the pastor, it was our photographer, and the pastor's two friends, because he was going to go look at cars with them afterwards, and we didn't have anyone that we wanted to invite. We didn't want to invite someone and not invite other people, and we wanted to just keep it really small. So essentially we just used the pastor's friends as witnesses to sign for our paperwork. I'm skipping over just a few things, mostly because they're just concerts and other events I've been to, so nothing too crazy. I probably will talk about them at some point, but I'm just going to skip over them for now. One thing I do want to talk about though is my birthday trip in August of 2023. My family had come down and we were celebrating, but then they left. But my brother stayed because it was a trip for me, my husband, and my brother. We were essentially going to go to Atlanta for the weekend. It was also when Twice was going on tour, so that was the main event for our trip. But we really had such a great time. I do have some clips, so I think I would probably have enough to make a video, but we'll see. My husband's birthday is in October, but I hosted a birthday party. It was a joint birthday party with some friends, and um, one of our other friends was also having a birthday, so we hosted it at a go-kart facility. It was in the end of September. In October, me and my husband, we ran our first 5K. It was the Bubble Run, which was it was a really flat course. It was at the drag strip here in Charlotte, and it was pretty good. The only thing is that because it was a bubble run, there was these little like arches, and they had bubbles coming out the top, and they would really accumulate, and they didn't really like fall and pop. It was like foam, so it was like when you would pass by them, there was like mounds of foam that you would have to go through, and it was fun for like the first one or the first two, but essentially at some point we were all wet and it was really cold. So because we were wet and it was cold, it was even colder. But overall, it was a good time. The following month in November, we did our second 5K. We did the Drop Dead 5K, which is at a cemetery here in Charlotte, and we did that one with our friends. Looking back at my camera roll and trying to remember the things that would have happened in 2024. Yeah, looking back at 2024, I don't think there was much that we did. So, if anything comes across my mind, I will definitely share it with you guys and possibly another video as a story. But I don't think much happened then. And the year that we're currently at, we're at 2025. In February, I learned how to sew, and I had been asking my mom about things regarding sewing, like what sort of materials or fabric or things do you need to sew. Eventually, she just decided to get me a sewing machine so I could learn, and I'm really grateful for that. It gave me another opportunity to be able to learn another hobby, which was a really great time. In March of 2025, we had our first family trip to Mexico in Cabo San Lucas. And growing up, me and my family didn't really go on trips. We didn't really have the money to. But my mom, she had the opportunity to go with us. So me and my husband went. It was my mom, my stepdad, and my two brothers and my nephew. So my nephew and sister and brother-in-law live in the same house as me, so we just took our nephew and we went to Mexico. My mom had actually bought tickets for a connecting flight in Charlotte. They live in New Jersey now, and I didn't know that. So me, my husband, and my nephew, we were waiting at the gate for our flight from Charlotte to Cabo San Lucas, and my mom came out of nowhere, and she ran and she came up behind my husband and she gave him a hug, and he was so confused because obviously if someone comes behind you, you don't know who it is, because I was sitting right in front of my husband and we were eating our breakfast. So he's like, who the hell? But yeah, it was my mom. It was a good time. there was some incidents that happened with, family, stuff happens. But overall, it was a pretty good time. In April of 2025, me, my husband, and my brother had our own little trip, and we went to Japan. We spent time in Tokyo, Nagoya, and we did a day trip to Kyoto. We were supposed to land in Tokyo, go to Osaka, and then make our way back to Nagoya and then back to Tokyo. But we ended up missing our flight to Tokyo. We had a connecting flight in Dallas, but our Charlotte flight to Dallas was delayed and we didn't make it in time. It was really unfortunate, but we were still able to make a good trip out of it. We did mainly go to see the F1 race in Suzuka. It was such a great time. My husband really enjoyed it. He's the one that's into cars the most out of all of us, so he had such a great time. We went to a lot of places. We visited a lot of food spots, a lot of museums and stuff like that. I do have clips that I can show. I believe I have enough to make a whole video out of it. The only thing is it was recorded in portrait, not landscape, so it will look a little weird if you're looking it on your devices. It'll have like the black bars on the side, but it is still a really good representation of what we did. So I really hope that when I edit it and post it that you really enjoy it. In May, my brother graduated with his bachelor's in computer science. He had previously had a rough time with college, and he didn't attend for a little bit. He did drop out, but he eventually decided to go back and give it another try, and he was able to graduate, and I am so proud of him. Looking back at my notes, it doesn't seem like there's any other major life event or anything that we did, so that will be it for today. If I come up with anything else, I'll be sure to mention it either in a story time or while recording another vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you staying and spending some time with me. Feel free to subscribe, like this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!